Before I begin today's episode, I wanted to pause and acknowledge the assassination of Charlie Kirk. His sudden and violent, extremely violent murder has left many people in shock and heartbroken and searching for answers. Regardless of where you stand politically, moments like this remind us of how fragile life is and how deeply words and actions touch communities. To those of you that are, all of us are grieving, I want to say this. You're not alone. It's all right to feel sadness, anger, confusion. What matters the most is that we support one another, we share compassion freely, and we keep all conversations grounded in respect for one another. Tragedy has the ability to divide, we all know that, but it can also call us to a higher and deeper unity. A unity that transcends opinion and it honors shared humanity. Straight Talk Commerce Podcast is going to carry that spirit forward together. God bless you all. Years in e-commerce has shown me one thing for sure. Businesses do not fail because of competition. They fail because they chase bad advice. And in this episode, I'm going to uncover the biggest myths that might be draining your time, your money, and your energy. And I'm going to show you some real brands that broke free and were able to scale magnificently. Because if you think that price cuts, endless ads, massive catalogs are the key to e-commerce success, you need to think again. Today on the Straight Talk Commerce Podcast, we are going to tear down the 5 myths that are holding you back from growing into the brand you know and I know you can be. And we're going to do that in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
No fluff, no hype, just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Hey, I break it down with the sharpest minds. Money, moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring from Jelly Belly to AA Kings, from the startup grind to the top tier pros. We crack the code. Now here we go. Straight talk, commerce, getting the know. Wayne Altman. Let's start the show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I wanted to do a kind of a recap of some of the missing information. Some of this is stuff we've gone over before on this podcast. True enough, I'm guilty of that. However, there are some very persistent myths that people want to believe, and they want to cling to those myths. And it does bear repeating. If you're going to take this seriously, you're going to have a brand that moves forward and serves you well, that you got to constantly uproot the roots of these myths. And so that's what we're going to do today. And myth number 1 is lowest price always wins. Here's why that sounds believable. Entrepreneurs often assume that if they undercut their competitors, those customers are going to naturally choose them. Have the lowest price? Of course, customers are going to go only for the lowest price, because Amazon dominates with low prices. Walmart dominates with low prices, right? Well, no, wrong. That's not exactly what is going on. And here's your reality check. Price competition is a race to the bottom. Someone, somewhere, will always be willing to go lower. And unless you're running a massive scaled operation like Walmart, like Amazon, you will not survive on razor-thin margins. Customers also associate value with price. If you go too low, you look cheap, not trustworthy. And we are going for trustworthy. Let me give you a case study on that, just in case you just don't believe me. Yeti, the cooler company. Yeti charges $400 for a cooler that its competitors sell for $50. And instead of competing on cost, their brand is built around toughness, around lifestyle, around community. It makes their cooler an aspirational product. Customers will proudly display their Yeti gear as a badge of identity and not just a camping tool. It's very important. And how many times have you walked around and seen people with Stanley cups? I've got 1 million of them here in this house. And trust me when I tell you, they're not the cheapest. I could go on and on about examples for this. But the lesson is you need to stop thinking in terms of being the cheapest. What makes my product unique, you should ask? How? How can I elevate the brand experience so my customers see me as the obvious choice, even at, or maybe because of, the premium price? It's food for thought. That was number one. Wait till you get to some of the other ones. Now this brings us to myth number 2, and this is a doozy, and I am so glad to be able to debunk this myth for you in real time, okay? Great products sell themselves. Here's why that sounds believable. Entrepreneurs fall in love with their products. That's why they get them to begin with. That's why they represent them to begin with, try to sell them to begin with. They assume that customers will instantly get it once it's in front of them. It's not always the case. There's a lot of education that goes along with some of these products. LifeStraw, for example. For a long time, people had a very hard time figuring out the benefits of a LifeStraw. And if you don't know what that is, it's a straw that you can stick in a mud hole and suck up clean, potable drinking water, perfect water. And maybe you can see that being of use to you if you were in Africa or, somewhere in the Congo. But people for a long time could not get their mind wrapped around why they would need stacks of LifeStraws. And it took a long time to educate people on that. And you should do a little bit of research if you don't have a handful of them in your home right now. Here's your reality check. Even the most innovative products fail without visibility. Podcasts do the same thing, and that's going to be another podcast coming up. Customers do not buy what they do not understand, and they will not stumble on your store by accident. Internet is a massive place and getting bigger every single day, and it gets smaller, and in some places things come and go. And sometimes people forget that you had this great product and that they could have eaten at your place, or that they could have bought your hoodie or worn your clothing. You've got to constantly be educating your customer. Let me give you a case study on this. Ring. Ring had revolutionary tech, But what made them a household name was not the product, it was its marketing. They leveraged Kickstarter to generate some buzz. They gained exposure, massive exposure, by the way, through Shark Tank. If you haven't watched Shark Tank, I don't know what you're doing. And they relentlessly told the story of making neighborhoods safer. Amazon, they saw the potential, and they just bought them for over $1 billion. And there's a lesson here for you. The lesson is, even if your product is a game changer, the way Ring is, you have to build a marketing engine around that. And you should think storytelling, and you should think partnerships, PR, influencers. You should think education and educating your customer. Because otherwise, you are going to be the best kept secret someone else gets to take advantage of, but no one buys from you. Hope you guys are having as much fun with this as I am. Believe me, I am having a ball. So that brings us to myth number 3. Myth number 3 is social media ads are the only way to scale. In particular, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Here's why that sounds believable. Facebook ads in particular have created thousands and thousands of overnight success stories. Their targeting power is unmatched, unrivaled. There's no one that comes close to targeting customers as Facebook does. It's very good for that. And many entrepreneurs believe that scaling is absolutely impossible without pouring money into Facebook ads in particular. But here's a reality check. Platforms change. Costs rise. Policies, they tighten and they change. If your entire business model relies on one ad channel, you are at risk of being completely wiped out overnight, and it happens a lot. Let me give you a case study. Glossier did not rise to $1 billion valuation by dumping cash into only Facebook ads. They started a beauty blog, Into the Gloss. They built an engaged community and then launched product with their own fans, not at them. When they later came and used ads, they had the money to put into an ad campaign. It was to amplify a movement that was already in motion. You can do the same thing. Doesn't matter what the product is. There are fans for every product. And the lesson for an entrepreneur is that ads are powerful. No doubt about it. But they should amplify, not replace organic growth. You need to build community. You need to invest in content. You need to diversify on your platforms. TikTok, YouTube, email, SEO, partnerships. All of those need to be explored. Enough about that. All right. So that brings us to myth number 4. Myth number 4 is you need a huge catalog of products in order to succeed. And here's why that sounds believable. Some entrepreneurs think that more products will equal more chances to make sales. You get more turns at bat. The logic here is that the bigger the store, the more likely that your customer is going to find something to buy from you. But here's your reality check. A large catalog will spread your attention thin. It spreads it across your inventory, your marketing, your customer service, and too many choices can overwhelm your customer. That leads to decision fatigue. It's a real word, look it up. And that makes fewer sales. Let me give you a case study. MVMT watches. They launched with a very tight catalog of very minimalist watches. Their clarity of focus let them brand themselves as a very affordable, stylish alternative to luxury brands. And they scaled to 100 million plus until they were acquired by Movado. And they did it with all a very tiny, small, curated product line. They niched, they specialized, they took that brand and made it very powerful, small but mighty. And the lesson for entrepreneurs here is less is often, very often, more. Start by dominating a single niche or product type. Then expand once you have the traction. Once the products you're selling allow you to expand like a balloon. Because mastery is what creates momentum. Now, all this leads to the biggest, ugliest, nastiest myth in all of entrepreneurship, in all of e-commerce, and that one is, everyone say it with me now, if you build it, they will come. Here's why that sounds believable. Many entrepreneurs think once they have a polished website looking good, and that those customers will just magically find them on this massive thing we call the internet. That's smart thinking. It's the field of dreams approach to e-commerce. That's what I like to call it. And the reality check here is that the internet is massive and it is flooded with online stores, all trying to do the same thing that you are with the same products that you have. And without specific traffic strategies, your site is worse than invisible. Launching a website, launching an e-commerce business is step one. The real work is building awareness and building trust. The case study on this is Dollar Shave Club. They did not rely on a fancy website to win. They exploded with a viral video. Our blades are effing great. And that hit millions of views in just a few days. People became very aware of what they were trying to do and what they were all about. And men and women alike loved that idea. That video was their launch pad, their springboard to becoming a billion-dollar business. That's what we're all aspiring to. Their success wasn't the site. It was the distribution strategy that encompassed the business. And the lesson that I want you to take from that case study is do not just build a site. Worry about traffic channels. Worry about people finding you. Use content marketing. Use influencer partnerships. Use PR. Use SEO. Clever campaigns to drive people to you. You need eyeballs. You need people running across that website that you're so proud of. Your store is only as strong as the distribution behind it. Your website is only as good as the people who see you, who know about you, who are educated by you. And you need to realize that. The sooner you realize that, the better. In just a few weeks, I am going to introduce a whole set of lessons on social media, ad purchasing, how to do those type things. If you would like that, please give this a thumbs up. Mention it in the comments, because I won't waste my time if you got a handle on all of those things. If one of those myths sounded uncomfortably familiar, take it as a sign to shift gears, to break free from old thinking and adopt some new and proven strategies in e-commerce. Watch your store transform from this, by the way, because it'll be amazing and it'll be very, very quick. I want you to subscribe for more straight talk that helps you grow. I would like to hear your comments. I would like to see how much you enjoyed this episode. Let's have a dialogue back and forth. And until next week, I love you, and I'll see you then.
No fluff, no hype, just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Hey, I break it down with the sharpest minds. Money, moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring. From Jelly Belly to AA Kings. From the startup grind to the top tier pros, we crack the code, now here we go.